For this pattern I'm using a hook size 14. For the silk I'm using vintage Pearsall's yellow. For the body I'm using a small piece of dark fur taken from a hare's ear. For the rib I'm using a Gutterman fine gold tinsel. And for the hackle I'm using a Golden Plover Over-covert. Now to start the fly I simply come in with my tying silk and directly behind the eye of the hook I trap it down with 5 or 6 nice tight turns of silk. And then trim off the waist end and I immediately come in with my fine gold tinsel and I mount that onto the top of the hook. I now form the underbody of the fly by bringing the silk down the hook shank in nice tight turns and thereby trapping down my gold tinsel. In this case I finish the body short of the hook point because I like to add a tag to the fly. Once I'm happy with the body length, I now come in with a small piece of dark hare's fur and I create a nice tight dubbing noodle onto the silk. The fur has quite a long staple so you don't need to use wax, simply sticks on quite easily. And now simply bring the silk back up the body of the fly, creating a nice spiky dubbed body. If you feel you've got too much fur on, you can simply just strip it off with your thumb and forefinger, and as I'll do here, I'll just add it back onto the front, and there we go. We've got a nice dub body to the fly. Now I take my tinsel and I form a nice small neat tag. I generally bring my tinsel down to where the end of the barb would be, like so. Now bringing the tinsel back up, I formed a nice tag to the fly and I give the fly just 2 or 3 nice open ribs. There we go. Now taking my silk, I just trap down that tinsel with 3 nice tight turns. Cut off the waist end and we're ready for the hackle. Now taking the Golden Plover hackle, I simply strip the fibres back to expose a small tip. And then just strip one side of the hackle. Come in with your scissors, just trim that tip down a little bit to make it more manageable. And now mount it onto the hook with 3 or 4 nice tight turns of silk. There we go. Take your hackle and your hackle pliers and just simply wrap that hackle to the density that you want. I'm going to take probably 4 or 5 turns here. If you've got a few fibres, you can just pull them out of the way. And now with your silk, bind down that hackle stalk with 2 or 3 nice firm turns of silk. I like to stick one just in front to clean up the eye. Take your scissors, trim off that excess hackle stalk, and now come in with your whip finish tool and form a nice small and neat whip finish. Pull it tight, give it a good pull, cut your silk, and now just ping the fly with your fingernail, and there we have the Hare's Lug and Plover.